Hello. Welcome everyone to another episode of Roleplaying. Yes, this is Spencer happening here for the quick intro. As you know, this is session 1 in season 7, where we are actually getting into a little bit of the gameplay as we dive into Fantasy Flight's game called The Legend of the Five Rings, set in the mystical land of Rokugan. I'm going to be honest with you up front and say that there's a little bit of explanation, or a lot of bit of explanation and discussion in this episode. We do a test fight, and it takes a bit of time to explain the dice and the mechanics of how a battle actually works. If you guys are listening to the episode or any other episodes and you have questions about how the mechanics actually work, please send them in, and we will do our best to stop and explain the mechanics as we go along to make this season understandable. You can email us your questions at rolepg13@gmail.com or DM us on any of our social media. We know that a lot of our listeners come from backgrounds in other role-playing games or perhaps no role-playing game background at all, so it's difficult for us to know exactly where areas that you want more clarification. So if you have those questions, please send them in and we'll do our best. Like you, we are learning the system and doing our best to understand it, but we're also trying to make sure that this is a story with a narrative that goes along with it and not just mechanical explanations. In a separate recording, Nick has done a little bit of background into the land of Rokugan. If you are interested in checking that out, that is the first episode that was published today and is just supplemental to be able to understand the world that Rokugan is set in, as well as the campaign itself. If you have a game that you have made and you want us to test it, or you have a game that you love and you want to hear it in a podcast, please send it our way. We love to get suggestions and love the game developers who send them to us. Our whole Season 6 was motivated by games sent from developers, and honestly, there were some pretty awesome games. Some of the games that they sent to us that are available for purchase online are The Flying Circus, A Cool and Lonely Courage, Power Outage, and Suited. All are available at Drive-Thru RPG if you want to buy those. Thank you so much to our patrons over the land of Patreon, Brad, Jules, Steven, and Sir Guy. You are the stickers to our Rubik's Cubes. Without you, we'd just be a rotating cube of confusion. Additionally, thank you so much to those who are still listening to the guidance of the CDC and the WHO. As we look around the world, we know that a lot of other countries are doing incredible work with reducing the infections and death rates, but here in the United States, we have continued to struggle and been setting a lot of really sad records, such as infections and deaths. Please continue to wear masks and social distance. I know that wearing a mask is really inconvenient. They get hot and sweaty, and you can get maskne from them if you don't wash them properly. But don't be a mask hole and not wear them. Based on statistical models and research that has been done by people far more qualified than myself, this is the most effective way and easiest way for us to do our part in stopping the spread. Additionally, we want to remind you to continue to support the foundation seeking justice and equality for all, including the Black Lives Matter movement, as well as Campaign Zero. Anyway, that does it for announcements. Sorry that it took a little bit longer. Let's get to the episode.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Role-Playing Guys in Season 7 with The Legend of the Five Rings. I am Nick, the GM for this season, and with me is Spencer.
It's me.
And Tyler as well, of course.
Buongiorno, people.
As well as Rebecca.
Hey, everyone.
So, yeah.
She's all drugged up.
She's too drugged up to ask how it's going.
For context,
she's drugged.
She's on drugs.
Tons of prescribed. Tons of double drugs.
Are you okay with me saying this?
Yeah,
okay.
no.
Yeah, Rebecca's recovering from an eye infection in her left eye, and so she got drops.
Drugs.
She got eye drops to treat it. So
she got level 4 drugs.
You said you've been
better.
You said you've been feeling better recently, though, right?
Yeah, no, I it's hard to tell. I've only used them once, but hopefully.
Well, I mean, like you had drops before, and now you got new ones. But anyway,
yeah,
it hasn't gotten worse recently. I don't know if so. Whenever I'm the GM, we've had Tyler be the recap person. Tyler, would you like to recap the last? If you want to count, we called it our session 0 last time, I guess.
Recap that kneecap.
Yeah, so basically it was our session 0. We went through all of our characters and is it 21 questions?
20 questions.
20
It's
questions.
just 20 questions.
It's just 20 questions. We went through our 20 questions and our responses, and we did a test game, but that was not recorded. And now that was the recap. We did it.
Yeah. Yeah, like Tyler said, we did not record ourselves trying out combat for the first time. We did a duel between, I believe it was Spencer and Tyler, doing a duel.
It was a real hot duel.
A duel to incapacitate, and yeah, we will probably still be a little bit slow, at least in combat or structured time.
Just in general, we're going to be slow.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just slow as a person.
It's just
Please
kind of the
be
nature
kind.
of our recording. It's what you get with this group.
So, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. But yeah. Yeah, so we're going to start right off. We are in the Crab Lands. Let me bring out a map here, and I'll tell you guys the page number so you can follow along if you wish. The map of Rokugan is on page 19 of the core rulebook. I'm kind of surprised that the Caillou wall doesn't seem to actually be on that particular map.
It is, isn't it?
It needs to be bigger.
Oh.
We need a bigger wall.
So the you can see it. It's like a small sketch along the southern border, but it's not labeled as such.
Because as we know, walls are so capable of preventing everything. Like tunneling. Wait. Dang it.
That's why you got the Nezumi, dude. The rat people, they protect the underground, and you're good.
What about?
Good thing I'm a bro. I'm a bro with them.
But yeah, so we are going to start in the Hida Castle. So I also want to give a little caveat as far as like how I'm using the setting and the lore and everything. As I've said in my 20-minute introduction of the setting of Rokugan, I tried to summarize as much as possible, but I guess I got a little excited about it during certain times. This game's been around for a while. This is the 5th edition, and the previous 4 editions were from the original publisher AEG, I believe. And there's a rich history and rich lore and everything to this. None of us are very familiar with that particular history and lore. I'm basically going off of what we get from the 5th edition books and going from there. I might do a little bit of research in like wikis or online or something like that. But just know that if you're looking for something that's entirely faithful to the classic Legend of the Five Rings setting,
Get out of here.
We're just here to have fun with this game that's new to us, and have some fun nitty gritty samurai drama. So,
and I mean, we're also looking specifically into the 5th edition, so that's
at the
worth
5th
noting.
edition, yeah, I think it's kind of like a fresh start. Like Fantasy Flight Games kind of took the IP, and I think they're kind of putting their own spin on it, especially with the mechanics, and maybe even, I don't know about the story. I don't know if they're continuing it or just kind of like they still have the card game. Like there's a good following for the card game of Legend of the Five Rings, which might be cool to check out. But that's not what we're dealing with here. We are in Hida Castle in almost the southern tip of Rokugan, the southern tip of the Caillou Wall, which is the only thing standing between Rokugan and the Shadowlands.
Rokugan.
All right. So the 3 of you, as well as several other warriors and samurai, you see all sorts of different kinds of samurai here. Of course, most of them are bushi, warriors, guards, that kind of thing. The type that Spencer's character is. You do see a fair number of shugenji as well, the type that Tyler and Rebecca's characters are. You see just a small handful of couriers, as well as like the artists, and because you don't have nearly as much of those in the Crab Clan. That's
Because
more
they're nerds.
They're a lot more plentiful in the Crane lands and islands and whatever to the east. But you do see a few, of those artists and those those crafty samurai among you. The group of a couple dozen of you in front of the head daimyo of the Crab clan, named Hidashi. And Hidashi has one advisor on either side of him. One of them is a bushi, and another one is a shugenji. And he stands before all of you, and he says this: "Welcome to all of you great samurai, those who serve. For you, we are grateful for your service, for your willingness to serve, and for your attendance here tonight. I have been consulting with my generals about a particular problem that we've had with the Shadowlands. We wish to form a small but elite group of samurai, and in order to decide who is going to be undertaking the tasks that we need of this group, we're going to be having a few battles among you to see who is truly worthy. For as you know, here in the Crab Clan, we value courage, duty, and sacrifice. We want to see who is truly worthy and ready for the task that we have prepared for them. With that, we would like you to follow our captains out onto the training ground, and they will give you your different training assignments. Thank you." And you are all sort of dismissed. You have each been hearing rumors of, attacks from the Shadowlands are nothing new. There's always that danger of being affected by the taint of the Shadowlands, especially if you actually go into the Shadowlands itself. Most Crab Clan samurai go as far as the Caillou Wall itself to keep watch, to make sure there aren't any ogres or zombies or other undead or goblins trying to break down the wall. But you have heard rumors that there have been more aggressive and more organized assaults on the wall as well. None of you have seen any of them yourselves, but you have certainly heard of these sorts of things happening. So you suspect it might be something along those lines for what you'd be expected to do. So you're all brought out, and you're kind of like put into groups of 3 or so, and you 3 are gathered into a single group, and you are instructed with a simple task. You are to engage in a skirmish with each other, with the aim to knock down or incapacitate only. Just go no farther than that, because we don't want to have any needless sacrifices in this training exercise. So essentially, what I'm having you guys do, we're going to start off with a skirmish scene. So
are we going to fight a different group, or are we fighting us 3 in a combat?
It's you 3 in a combat.
So we numbered each other off, and we're the 1s or the 2s?
Like I said, there were a couple dozen, and it was just kind of like the captain sort of like seemed to haphazardly. It was kind of by convenience.
Yeah, we're the 2s.
It's just kind of like you 3, you 3, you 3, you 4, and so you 3 were chosen as a group to sort of like, clash against each other, to show what you're capable of, essentially.
So I'm sensing that one of my ancestors has had this situation happen before, and I got my butt kicked. So, scrawny, hey you scrawny girl, I'm scrawny too. So, what if we team up and we beat up the big guy?
And then we can take each other?
And then we'll have an honorable duel. How's that sound, big guy?
The group with the 4 people, don't worry about him. That guy has IBS, so he's basically like completely incapacitated. We're going to be able to waste them.
Oh, yeah, maybe it wasn't clear. You guys aren't a team.
We're fighting each other.
You guys are fighting each other.
Oh,
yeah. I'm making a little truce with this.
Not exactly. It's little pockets of free for alls.
No, I said it's a 3 for all.
Oh, yep. There we go. I didn't want to make this too complicated by having like 6 combatants in one.
Wait, so Coach, we're fighting each other?
Yes, you are.
Hey, can we have some tea before we go out to fight?
Is there a reason you didn't have tea before this fight?
I always have my teacups here, so I'm always ready.
I'm always
ready.
I swear I'm gonna break your neck.
Anyway,
All right, how do I use this sword? I have 1 on my martial arts skill, so here we go.
All right. So, to begin, we're going to do an initiative check. For a skirmish scene in particular, you're going to be doing a tactics check. Roll a number of skill die equal to your tactics rank, and then roll the number of ring dice equal to the ring you're using for this tactics check.
So much tactics.
And remember that when you roll these dice, you keep a number of dice equal to
tactics.
Equal to the ring you're using. So you don't keep all the dice you roll necessarily. Tactics is
nothing.
Okay. So you have 0.
Mm-hmm.
But you get to choose a ring to use.
Okay, fire or earth is good.
Okay, so what's your earth? 3? Okay, you get these 3 ring dice. And you get to choose, I think it's up to 3 to keep.
Yes, at level 1 or at rank 1, you're only able to, well, in any rank, you're only able to keep as many as your ring. So in this case, depending on how many you have in your ring that you're choosing as your stance is going to be the number of dice that you can keep. So for example, per usual, Dan Victor Brown loves the earth stance because he kind of kills it there with 3 in his earth ring. So I get to keep 3 dice that I roll out of the 5 that I'm rolling.
It's pretty nice.
I have no tactics, so I get to roll 3.
Yeah, so she's not rolling any skill dice, none of the d12s, but she is rolling 3 d6s, which are the ring dice, because she has 3.
So I probably want to get rid of that one then.
So what, Rebecca, what you rolled, you got 1 dice that has strife and opportunity, another one that has just opportunity, another one that has strife and explosive success.
So I probably want to get rid of that one.
Okay, so you want to keep the opportunity and you want to keep the explosive success?
Well, is opportunity a good thing or a bad thing?
Opportunity is generally a good thing. It allows you can kind of, you can be creative with how you use opportunity, but there are suggestions in the back of the book.
I don't want to have 2 strife. An opportunity is not worth the strife for me right now, so I'm just going to take that.
Okay. Well, because you got explosive success, you're going to re-roll. You got to roll another dice.
Oh, cool.
So before we get into like too much specifics, I think it would be good to explain opportunity, strife, blank, and success, because those are the 4 potentials that you can roll on your die. So obviously blank, that's nothing. There's no symbol there. You don't get anything from it. Strife it's important because as your character accumulates more strife or essentially stress, they can be less capable of doing things. If you get more strife than your composure, then you are compromised, which means that you can no longer take any dice that have strife on them. So if you have anything that has multiple symbols on it, including like a success or a strife, then you don't get to keep it as an option. What else is with strife? You can unmask, which gets rid of strife, but that also can lose you glory. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword there.
Yeah. Strife is essentially the it's how your samurai deals with stress, and having strife is not necessarily bad unless it becomes more than your composure, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that will allow you to like lose duels and sometimes like stuff like that. So
yeah.
But there's no dice side that has just strife. There's always strife attached to opportunity or to explosive success or something.
And then you can get success, which is obviously what it sounds like. And then you can also get opportunity, which isn't necessarily, it isn't an outright success, but opportunity allows you to do other things. For example, if you're using a technique, some techniques require you to have 2 opportunity that you roll and keep in order to do an additional effect.
Yeah. In an initiative check like this, for example, you could use, like, there are some suggestions. You can go back and forth between yourself and the GM to decide how you want to spend opportunity, whether it be a simple mechanical or a narrative bonus. For an Earth initiative check, for example, you can choose another character's disadvantage that you know, and they do not apply that disadvantage to their checks in this scene, like giving a little boost to somebody else if you wanted to. Or
Although in a free-for-all, why you would want to do that.
right, that doesn't necessarily apply here exactly.
Okay.
Or general examples. One general example is you can remove one strike you gain from this check per opportunity spent this way.
Mm-hmm. And I think that,
yeah.
also when you roll, like Nick said, he alluded to earlier, you can get sides of the dice that have multiple of these on it. So an exploding success, which means that you get a reroll, or you could have something that's like an opportunity and a strife, or any combination essentially, except for a blank and something else. Back to you, sir.
So for this initiative check, essentially this is for each check in this game, there's a target number or a TN that you have to reach. In this case, it's a TN1 to gain a read on the battlefield conditions and the enemy. You may spend opportunity from this check to get additional information about your surroundings, or undertake small tasks such as readying weapons or diving for cover.
Nope.
Characters act in descending order of initiative value for the scene. So, yeah, basically we're starting with the one who got the most number of successes and going down from there. So Rebecca got 1 success. What did you
I
get?
got 1.
Okay, Tyler also got 1, and Spencer?
I decided to take 1 success and 2 opportunity.
Someone rolled real nice.
Okay. Would you like to use those 1 or 2 of those opportunity to go first? For ties, the character with the lowest honor goes first.
Did we already have we didn't say that we had our weapons prepped or anything like that, right? So
I do not think so.
I guess I would just use one of my opportunity for my turn to prep my weapon and establish my earth stance, so that way I'm more in a defensive stance and closer to Rebecca.
Okay, excellent. Since each of you got 1, let's see, what are each of your honor scores?
My honor is 40.
50.
Ooh,
Spencer?
I'm 40 as well.
I am going to prepare my katana. I think that's my one action that I can do for this turn.
So let's see.
I will draw my sword.
During your turn,
Prepare
before
an
or
item.
after performing an action, you can move. So you can move and then also perform an action.
I will attempt to flank, I don't know you guys' characters' names yet, but the big guy with one arm.
Victor.
Victor. Yep, the one without the Rokugani sounding name.
Victor's about to open up a can of whoop.
But yeah, you're closing in on Victor.
In a dishonorable way, I'm going to sneak up a little bit behind him and...
Could I get the names again of everyone?
You said you were prepared. Sorry, what?
Could I get everybody's names real quick? Just writing it down.
Yeah, sure. So we have
Kikashi.
Victor, Kikashi, and
Kikashi. Is it Haru?
Naruto.
Haruka.
Oh, dang it.
All right, so Tyler, you did the prepare action, right?
Yeah, we didn't have our weapons out, so I'm going to move kind of to get behind Victor, and I will draw my katana, and we'll prepare to strike next round.
Okay, you prepare one item for use, ready a weapon in a grip of your choice, or stow an item. Very good. Excellent. And then between Haruka and Victor, who had the lower honor, or were you tied there?
Well, Victor already went. I went because I had lower honor than Rebecca's character,
Okay.
so Rebecca is
Rebecca's writing down the katana stats.
She's going to open up a can.
Gonna freaking open up a can.
Oh, I'm using my war club. I forgot to mention that was the weapon that I took out.
Okay. What does Haruka do?
So, you two both are, like, readying.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be what I would have to do too, right? Like, ready my katana.
Yeah.
Or you could run.
Yeah.
Just use all your...
I mean that is... you could do that if you wanted to.
I'm gonna ready my katana and move away from
Victor?
one-handed guy.
From Victor?
Yeah.
One hand!
One hand! They just said, hey, you're with this guy.
You can assist me in punching him.
So we have Kakashi and Victor next to each other, while Haruka is kind of hanging back. Kakashi.
You know what happens when you hang back.
Yeah.
You get ripped.
Yep, exactly. So, we will now go back up to
Well,
the...
I just don't want to... He moved next to me. I'm moving away.
He's chasing you down.
just a calm, steady walk.
Us.
It looks like the first Halloween movie with what's his name? Oh jeez, come on. For real? Mike Myers just walking after you calmly and slowly. Just
making sure we're all equidistant.
She's just running, and you just walk and catch up to her every time.
It doesn't
It's
make
amazing.
any sense, but yes, that's exactly what's happening. He's not even moving.
Alright, so we're back to the top of the initiative order. One thing that I do want to point out, though, is that, like mentioned before, duels or clashes can happen in the middle of skirmishes. There is an action in skirmish scenes called challenge. If you want to use your challenge to initiate a clash with another character, you could do that if you wanted to. But
you don't want to lose that sweet honor or glory. Come on.
That's if you deny one.
Basically, if you challenge someone and they accept, they stake 10 honor and 5 glory, which they forfeit if they take any attack or scheme action before the clash.
What if I don't want to listen?
Then you
if
lose.
you decline, you must forfeit glory equal to your ranks in command plus your bonus successes.
You lose, sir.
Command, I've got nothing.
Jeez Louise.
Anyway, no, it ranks in to the person who accepted, to the person who issued the challenge. Like the person who declined, like the glory they lose is equal to the other person's command plus their bonus successes.
That's unfortunate.
Anyway,
So always accept.
what does Victor wish to do?
Do I notice that Slinky is coming up behind me?
I mean, you did say that in particular, Victor was being particularly defensive and a bit more vigilant as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say it's probably not that hard to notice that Kakashi is trying to get behind you.
Not a chance, bro. And I'm just gonna turn because I imagine that he said he's flanking me, so he's kind of like behind me, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of know that he's coming up, and I just do this overhead swipe coming down after you, and that's gonna be.
Gotta stay in the periffs.
So this would be a strike action. You're attacking.
Yes, I'm going to do a strike action with martial arts melee.
All right, and of course you'll have to use Earth because that's your stance, your current stance.
Yes, I want to stay in Earth.
Yeah.
He wants that sweet earth stance.
Son of.
Also, if you guys want to be reminded of the passive benefits of each particular stance, I can remind you of that as well.
I also have them already up on my other screen, so I
Excellent.
can read those.
Yeah, so that is something. So keep that in mind. Your stance has a passive effect that can help you.
So out of the 4 dice that I rolled, I got 2 blanks,
Oh,
1
nice.
success and 1 opportunity.
Okay, so the target number for a typical strike was 2.
Mm-hmm.
You only got 1 success, and you said you got 1 opportunity.
Yeah. So one of the things with opportunity is if you don't have a specific skill that works with it. I don't know how to say that exactly. If you don't have enough success, you can use it to describe the action, using an adverb, essentially. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
So I just kind of swing wildly with my club over my head, trying to swing at Kakashi behind me, but I didn't estimate the distance well enough because, like he said, he stayed in my perfs. So that was just far enough for me not to measure that distance, right?
Man.
So I wildly missed.
Excellent. Now, Kakashi.
With my katana drawn and the hammer shattering on the earth against
Correction, war club.
It's
Club.
a
Thank
war
you, club.
Yeah.
a club. I close the distance and strike with the spirit of the air.
Do you have to activate that?
Well, I'm just in the air stance,
Oh.
so I mean, just give it some nice narrative taste.
He's trying
here.
to make it sound cooler. We're all trying to be better at that.
Okay, so I rolled very well. I did it all wrong. Never mind. Let me see how well I did. So the black ones are for your rings,
Yeah.
and then you get one for your skill.
Well,
I'm gonna roll that.
one each for
Okay.
skill ranks. So if you have 2 in
I only have
melee-
one in martial arts melee.
Okay,
so
so 1.
I really suck.
rank.
Same. I need to up that, son.
So I rolled 3 successes, 1 opportunity, and 1 strife.
Oh, wow.
I will take the opportunity dice and the opportunity dice with the strife, and then the 1 opportunity that I can. So 2 successes, 1 strife. So I will note that down on my paper,
Okay.
and then 1 opportunity. So I won't use my opportunity. I don't really see anything too great with that right now that I could use.
If you, as a reminder with opportunity, you use it or you lose it on your rolls.
Yeah.
So use it as an adverb.
I can use one of my opportunities to learn Victor's demeanor in this combat. How does Victor feel about me slashing him with the katana?
Amused. You're using
Okay.
one hand, right?
2.
Oh, 2.
I'm
Amused.
going to use 2. So that is going to be
So that was a success. You rolled at
4,
least 2 successes.
4 damage, but its deadliness is 7.
So deadliness is accounted for in a critical strike, not for damage.
Okay, so then only 4 damage.
All right, so Victor will have to deal with that.
I look at it amused. Like I said, that's my demeanor. Because as he strikes with his katana, it slashes across my lacquered armor, which has a physical defense of 4.
Ooh, well,
That's bad.
look at that. Yeah, that means
We're in trouble.
So we can't do anything. We can't damage him. It's impossible.
Yeah, we can't hurt him.
Base
I
stats.
will
I
say-
didn't change anything. That was base stats.
No, I totally believe you.
I will say, like I said, if you got 2 opportunity, you can spend 2 opportunity in a strike to inflict a critical strike on your target with severity equal to your weapon's deadliness.
Unfortunately, in the Earth stance, you can't use an
do it.
opportunity on me
No.
for a critical
No,
strike.
you can't.
so
Already broke the
please
game.
nerf.
Why are we playing this? Let's
Yeah,
let's pack.
can we,
Let's pack
find
up.
Something that I can like actually hurt.
I don't think we can do anything to him because
Yeah, it's just gonna
the
be
only
how long
way-
you run
Just
away.
it's gonna be Mike Myers. It's just a slow progression of me attacking you.
because I honestly the only thing that we
Huh. Okay, so how about this? How does this sound?
Nick's like what?
I did not realize that this would. Well, you know what? We're all.
You gotta get something that can hit harder.
After I see that I cannot even touch his armor, I turn to the small scrawny girl and
Okay, so so one of the captains observing the sort of the small skirmishes happening in the training ground, he kind of goes over here and he says, I may have made some rather serendipitously poor decisions here.
No, I think this is good. Let me do this, boss.
I'll tell
I'm
you
about
what,
to open up
so,
a can.
he goes to the 2 Shugenja and said, "You 2 will duel. You are going to duel. You are going to come with me." And they have,
Come on, boss. I was about to open up a can.
so
Wait, does your character have any like combat magic?
For undead, dark, shadowy things.
I think there's like a. Oh yeah, you're right. Because like the jade, you have like jade strike, don't you?
Yep.
But that's only good against like tainted individuals, if I remember correctly.
I have
Dude, I need.
striking is earth, armor is earth, jade strike, commune with spirits, and threshold barrier.
I
Ooh,
thought-
and gaze into shadow.
I thought each of you would have something that could be used in combat. So
No, I don't have any magic powers
I
in
can
combat.
walk with a katana using striking is earth.
I can taunt him.
You have a sword?
I do, but I just hit him and it did nothing. My sword probably
No,
is going
but
to
you
break.
Are you
too.
sure? Are you sure? Because I thought if you change your grasp to 2 hands, it would increase the damage of it. That's why I asked if it was 1 hand or 2.
It does the deadliness. I
Where's
don't think
the
it increases damage.
What?
Yeah. Huh, that's surprising. Well, you should have taken the boken.
Well, I could only start with the katana.
I got a war club, a katana, and a knife.
How'd you get all that?
Bushy, son. Bushy, walking everywhere.
So it's just gonna be us slashing at each other, and whoever rolls best wins.
Well,
Isn't
it's
that every
mostly
game?
him crushing us as bugs.
No, but if they have you and me fight instead of a 3-way.
Let's do this. Man, I was so
This is
pumped. I
this is
finally
certainly,
landed a hit against the tank, and I was like, "This is great! I finally hit him."
To no avail,
Did you
it turns
really?
out. So basically, they pair Victor up with another would-be warrior.
He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it.
So if it's all right with you guys, we're going to have 2 different duels, and we'll go back and forth between each of them. We will start with
Start with them because there are 2 of them.
Kakashi and I was trying to remember Tyler's character's name. Kakashi and Haruka. So Kakashi
right.
gets to go first, I believe, because he has.
We got to roll for it, right?
Oh right, yeah. So this one, for initiative, this one is a meditation check. Because the duel is a different type of. scene,
Yay! I
different
get
type
a
of combat.
bonus for that.
Me too. This is fantastic.
I mean, there are such things as Shugenja duels. Again, this is to incapacitation.
So we're just pretending that other bit didn't happen.
No, it did happen, and we
It
just embarrassed
did
ourselves.
happen, but then the captain just kind of realizing, a couple of Shugenja, trying to incapacitate a Bushi is not really going to be all that fair. So let's try to make it a bit more fair for everyone, essentially.
I tried my best. Captain. I'm sorry.
I figured
Your
it'd be
best
difficult
doesn't
for you
even
guys.
matter.
I didn't realize it'd be near impossible. So, yeah.
The thing is like the duel rules we could possibly beat him if we
Final blow.
made him stressed enough.
Right.
But the thing is, the skirmish rules don't really have a lot of stress-related items that we could kind of
No,
whittle
it's-
them down mentally. But
Right.
physically, he's a monster, so he can't do much. I will break you. Is that what Victor
Okay.
says?
I have you for
Um,
3
So,
minutes.
for some slight context for this kind of duel between Shugenji, this is called a Taryu Gi. They're actually rarely permitted to fight sword duels. However, they are a prideful lot, possessed of great power, and their squabbles can shake the land itself. Taryu Gi bouts between Shugenja are, if you have incantations, that's usually how they're fought. But physical strikes are permitted by the spiritual leaders of some clans, such as Crab and Scorpion, but forbidden by others, such as the Pansy, Phoenix, and Crane.
Pansy.
That's
Well,
how
I don't
the
have
crab-
any offensive magic, so I'm just going full out
That's how the
sword.
Crab Clan would probably see it. Anyway, the dual objective is to inflict the incapacitated condition on the foe or to demonstrate one's absolute superiority such that the foe surrenders. There you go. How many successes did you each get?
So I rolled.
Wait, I can only keep 3.
You can only keep 3, yeah.
Okay.
This is
You're
tough.
taking 2 opportunity and 1 success.
Yeah.
And how much did Tyler get?
I'm gonna take 2 opportunities, 2 successes. Sorry.
How many dice do you get to keep?
So we get to keep 3, right? If we're
Yeah.
It depends on the ring. It depends on the
It
ring or
depends
the
on the
stance
ring,
that you're
yeah.
using.
Yeah, I'm using R.
Okay, I'm using air because that's my go-to. So I have 2 successes, but 1 has a strife, and then 1 opportunity.
Okay.
So I'm going to note that down. My composure is
Excellent.
-1.
How would you... So, Hikashi will go first. How would you each like to use your opportunity?
Well, we already have our weapons drawn, so I'm going to go for a strike attack.
I have 2 opportunity. What are my options with that?
Pretty much anything you can think of. If you have suffered strife, I'd be willing to let you use 1 or 2 opportunity to
Cool.
Get
Can I
rid
get
of-
rid of my strife?
Yeah, so again, this was a meditation check, so maybe something like Haruka could just kind of like, breathe in and out.
Find my zen.
Calming breath.
Finding
Finding
your center as you
Or your Spencer.
and as you begin a duel with a fellow Shugenji. So Kakashi, you are going to strike. Actually, at the beginning of the round, we have the stare down. So each of you starts by taking one strike.
Alright, then I am at 2 strife.
Wait, I still have one opportunity though. You said I only had one.
In a duel, each round starts with a stare down in which the characters involved take a strife equal to the number of rounds that they are in.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Intense. I rolled my strike. I got 2 successes and 1 opportunity.
All right.
So I'm going to do the 4 damage with my katana.
All right.
How do I know what my not getting hit is?
So you're wearing sanctified robes, right?
Classic.
That is a type of armor.
It's physical 1 and it's supernatural 3.
So it deflects 1 point of physical damage and 3 points of supernatural damage.
I have the same thing, so it is an even fight.
It should be you can probably find it somewhere.
I'll find it later. I can't read this.
Anyway, so you have 3 damage that you have to deal with.
Okay.
I assume you do not have any. I'm guessing you don't have any abilities that allow you to reduce damage further.
None activated right now because I didn't get a turn last time.
All right. So you will have to essentially take 3 fatigue, and if your fatigue exceeds your endurance, that's when you become incapacitated.
All right, you're up.
Okay, and now we go to Haruka.
Okay, I am going to strike as earth with my katana.
That sounds real bad.
So that's a melee earth.
Melee martial arts?
In order to strike as earth, you need to get an opportunity.
Yeah, no, but I guess I'm saying I intend to strike as earth if I have opportunity, in case I had to declare what I'm doing before I do it. Because some games would be like, well, you can't just roll and then just,
Yeah, no, in this game it's cool because you can use a technique after, at least the techniques that I've seen, you have to roll first to even activate the technique. So
cool. Well, I'm going to go for it with my katana, so...
And you can keep up to 3 of those.
What'd you get?
I will say, as in air stance, the TN of attacks is increased by 1.
Oh, so you need a 3 instead of a 2. So if you're keeping that explosive success, you get to re-roll. You get to roll another dice. So go ahead and do that. Oh, hey, you got another explosive success with another strife.
That's okay.
So go ahead and you're keeping those.
Oh, gotcha.
You got another explosive success, so we're gonna.
I get it.
An explosive success means that you are able to re-roll dice.
It's kind of like you add 1, because basically what you do is you assemble your dice, you roll them, and then you choose which ones to keep. Now, if you have the explosive dice, then that allows you to roll an additional dice.
So basically, and then you can replace that dice with one that you choose to keep.
Yep.
I'm going to double check that.
Or is it cumulative, I end up with 5
In addition to counting
dice?
as a success symbol, it gives the character a chance to roll an additional dice and decide whether to add its result to the check, potentially letting them succeed at a task they normally couldn't overcome.
Cool.
So it seems that you're adding this. That's
what
lot.
I think too.
Okay, so the total, there's 4 successes, 2 strife, and 2 opportunity.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so this is an especially good strike as earth, basically. How much opportunity did you need to use strike as earth?
Probably just 2.
An opportunity.
Just 1. Oh, okay.
Just 1.
Plus, I get +1 to my resistance. My physical resistance is 1 higher per opportunity spent this way until the beginning of your next turn.
That's nice.
All right.
So that's the katana.
Yeah.
So that's 4.
Well, I'm wearing the same thing as you.
Not anymore, you're not.
Oh, yeah.
I will say, what do you think is going through Haruka's mind that's causing that extra strike there?
She's a little bit frustrated that, like, she's trying to prove herself. The leaders are watching, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, her dad's up there watching her do this. She got paired up with someone she couldn't even hit. I figure that's all very strife where, like, and now she has to start over. She didn't get a fight in the first one, and now they're like, okay, now duel this guy. And she's just like...
I like it. I like it. That's very good.
Hey, but you
all
just
right.
landed a killer hit, so I mean that's real good.
So I'm guessing your fatigue is still beneath your endurance. So.
Correct.
So how do you get an explosive or
critical strike?
Yeah.
It depends, but let's see here.
Essentially, you have to surpass the resistance of the person that you're attacking.
If they're not able to defend. So if someone is incapacitated, for example, they can't defend. So when you attack someone who's incapacitated, then you'd be able to do a critical strike.
Gotcha.
Are you looking at dealing damage?
Yeah, defending against damage, sorry. When an effect deals damage to a character even after the reductions, the character must defend against the damage. If they cannot, they suffer a critical strike with severity based on the damage source. Or in other words, the deadliness of the weapon.
Yeah, so under normal circumstances, you would be able to defend, but if you have some sort of affliction, like incapacitation, or something else on you, or maybe an effect someone is putting upon you, then, and you can't defend, then yeah, you would suffer a critical strike.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for answering the question.
No problem. So now we move on to Victor and the duel that he's doing. Victor sees another fellow warrior. He seems a little on the scrawny side, although you
didn't need a sandwich.
You also have seen some capable warriors who are at least slightly smaller than you. So we're going to have a meditation check here as well. I'm going to use fire. Oh dear, they've rolled terribly. They did not get any successes whatsoever.
Wow, okay. That's weird. So, initially when I rolled, I had 2 explosive successes, so I re-rolled those, and they matched the number that I previously had on the other die. So, if that makes sense, I rolled a...
Right, because you're rolling numbered dice.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
So now I'm all matchies. Since I only need 2, and all of these are success and strifes, I'm just going to take 2 of them, and then take the 2 strife in there as well.
So Victor gets to go first. First of all, both Victor and this warrior each suffer 1 strife during this round 1 stare down.
Papa's already up to 3, son. But I'm gonna
3 club.
Move in with my war club, and again I'm gonna make a strike at him, and seeing the position that he is in, and seeing that he's kind of a scrawnier guy, I'm gonna sweep kind of at his legs to see if I could just knock him down straight up with that.
Go for it.
I'm going to... I only need 1 success in order to hit, right?
You need 2.
Oh, 2?
For a...
normal
if I'm not
melee.
mistaken, for a strike action in a duel or a skirmish. It's a target. It's a TN2 martial arts check.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is using my TN2 I got, and swiping at his legs, keeping 2 successes, 2 straight up successes, and 1. I'm reading this wrong. It's a little bit difficult when you're not using the official dice. Let me put it out there.
You're referring to a table, yeah. I noticed something about damage that is pretty important. If you have additional successes above the 2, you get to add that to your weapon's base damage.
Oh, hey, so that's another damage for you.
Oh. Yeah, but we could have damaged the big boy.
Yeah, so in the strike action, this is for skirmishes and duels.
So
You deal physical damage to the target equal to the weapon's base damage plus your bonus successes. So any successes you get above the 2
It would
that
be
you
very
needed.
minimal, though.
Yeah,
It'd be like what every hit.
That's an extra damage to you, though.
So what I'm doing is with my hit, I'm keeping a dice that is a successful and a strife, so I get 1 strife, and then another just success, and then I'm taking an opportunity, so I can activate striking as earth, which now means that my resistance is 1 higher in the next round. So now my resistance is 5, and I say, "Oh, Daddy's gonna wreck you. He's opened up a can. I'm gonna open up a can. You don't even know I'm opening up a can." And I hit him.
How hard?
With my war club, it deals 5 damage.
5. Okay.
I need one of those.
No, I'm just now realizing I'm having a hard time finding like the defense combat stats on some of these NPC stat blocks.
Well, what are they wearing?
It's probably a 1.
No, they have some armor.
Yeah, what are you wearing, Nick?
Hey, Nick. Are you wearing lacquer armor like Spencer?
Are you wearing the lacquer?
We are a family-friendly channel.
There's nothing wrong with wearing lacquer armor.
Yeah, it's totally respectable.
Good
You're
point.
a barbarian thug.
Good point.
Hey, I'll have you know that this is ceremonial.
Oh, well, that makes everything better then.
And war
You're
gear.
a ceremonial thug.
I'm a ceremonial.
Okay, so
I'll call the brute squad on ya. I am the
So,
brute
so
squad.
this particular warrior, he has Ashigaru armor. It's cheap, lightweight, easy to acquire kind of stuff. Usually issued to peasant soldiery. It has the
He's a peasant.
has the war gear attribute. Whenever another character suffers 1 or more strife due to actions of someone wearing 1 or more war gear items, they suffer that amount plus 1 instead. So what he does have going for him is that whenever he causes strife to you, you suffer 1 additional strife.
That's
How
not
do you
good.
cause strife to someone else?
It depends on the ability. I don't have any hard and
gotcha.
fast things, but there are certain abilities that can cause.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, 5 damage. So Ashigaru armor has physical defense of 3, so he has to take 2 fatigue against his endurance. Okay. So now he is going to strike with his katana.
I'm not gonna make the cut, guys. Sorry.
Gonna use, so he's getting a bit aggressive with using the fire ring. And let's
He's a
take
fiery
that,
boy.
that, and that. Actually, never mind. He could have done a critical strike if he would have had an explosive success, but no, not quite. So yeah, so he strikes you for a solid 4 damage
Yeah,
with his
except you
katana.
can't do critical strikes on Earth
On
strikes.
Earth, yeah, never mind.
No, you can, but you can't use opportunity to inflict a critical strike.
Oh, true.
Yeah, critical strike can happen in other ways, but
Not that way.
not that way. So yeah, so he strikes you with his katana, which does 4 damage, and I believe your lacquered armor doesn't really do much with that.
Well,
You give
now
him
it's
a war club.
5. It's 5 at this
so
moment.
he's kind of like he strikes your armor, but then he notices that he just barely.
Come on, wuss
struck.
man, bring it on.
All right, we now go to the Shugenji duel. Both of you take 2 strife now during the stare down because this is the second round,
Ouch.
and we begin with Kakashi.
You know, I like that predict action, so I am going to predict. So after seeing her strike very fast and very cleanly, I'm going to try to predict her next action. So I will write down the
We'll
selected
predict her next ring,
stance.
basically.
Yes. That's what I'm going to pick.
What does
You-
that even do?
So with predict, you select secretly. You secretly choose one of the rings.
Oh, we all know what he's gonna pick.
He's predicting what your stance will be.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. We all
Yeah,
know.
so just for future reference, you don't.
No, I know it's secret, but
Okay.
I can guess what he's gonna pick.
Okay, so the
Yes.
next time you choose whatever stance Tyler chooses, you may reveal. He can reveal a selection. If it matches, you would take 4 strife and must choose a different stance.
Yeah, so
So
but it only
that
lasts
is-
for my turn, so
Yeah, that is Kakashi's
Still.
turn.
Strife is really important in a duel because if you get the other person to unmask, which is essentially be compromised
Yeah.
and unmask. No, just be compromised or
Become
unmasked.
compromised
Either one.
or unmasked,
You can do a finishing blow.
Yeah.
You can strike out of turn. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to try to predict the stance and the movement that she's going to take in an attempt to
So stances determine what you can do, right?
So in the stances determine which ring you're going to be using for your action. It also determines the passive ability, right? Because each stance has a passive ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if my techniques...
Strike as Earth, for example, you'd have to use Earth.
Is that true?
I believe you would, yeah.
Or like armor.
Because those are
yeah. In order to strike as Earth, you have to be in the Earth stance. That's one of the activation requirements.
That's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But I could just do a regular martial attack as not.
Well, if you do that, you're only going to be rolling what your skill is and not your ring. You kind of want the ring.
No, but if I pick a different ring,
but did I pick that one? Maybe I picked a different one.
You suck.
Well,
sorry, hun.
What is
Haruka?
Haruka? Why? Why am I having problems with that?
Haru is summer, and then ka at the end. Haruka.
What is Haruka going to do?
Haruka.
She is going to use Void Stance and use her katana.
Interesting.
So what did Tyler choose?
That's not what I picked. I picked Earth because I thought you would say an Earth.
As soon as you said you were going to guess what it was, I knew I couldn't.
Yeah, Haruka could see that Kakashi was starting to take his time and sort of trying to predict what she's going to do, and so yeah, she chose a different stance.
On the plus side, I can now ignore strife symbols on checks.
Strife, that's good.
Yeah, you do not receive strife from those symbols on your kept dice under the void stance.
Oh boy.
I'm assuming you're doing a strike?
Here, I'm using my katana.
Cool. So you got...
So I get a reroll one, right?
Well, you get to roll another ring one because you got an explosive success there. Oh, another explosive success.
I love life.
Okay, so you got a total of 3 successes and 2 opportunity and no strife.
Oops.
You almost dropped another computer parts.
Oops. I told you to move them.
I did move them.
Your fault, Nick.
Said move them far away where they won't accidentally get crushed.
Or maybe hold the book steady.
I will hold the book steady. I apologize for that.
Anyway, so you get to strike with 1 additional damage because of the you got 1 additional success, and since you got 2 opportunity,
I have a 3 to hit me, so no extra damage.
Yeah, but I still got the 2 opportunities.
But that that
extra
definitely
damage.
is gonna suck.
You do inflict a critical strike with. So what is the severity of a katana?
It's like 5.
5.
Also, were you striking one-handed or two-handed?
Two-handed is the only thing I have.
6.
Well, no, you can use one-handed or two-handed. The difference is
7.
that two-handed, it's +2 to severity.
I assumed she was using two-handed.
So that would be a severity of 7.
Goodbye, arm.
So, critical strike. Here we go. First critical strike of the game. It has a severity value which is dictated by the method by which it was inflicted.
Oh, see, look, I'm going to get a permanent injury.
Right, yeah. So there's a table, and the deadliness, the severity of the weapon, for 7 or 8 is permanent injury. The strike leaves the character permanently injured, bearing a scar that will impact them the rest of their life.
Sorry.
The mechanical effect. So Kakashi suffers the bleeding condition, then chooses 1 scar of the following disadvantages for the ring they use their check to... Oh, wait, resist. Hold on. When a character fails to defend against damage, they suffer a critical strike. Additionally, some effects do critical strikes directly. When a character suffers a critical strike, you need to make a fitness check, actually. So, Kakashi, make a fitness check first.
There's hope.
No,
to
there
mitigate its
isn't.
effect.
I have a 0 in fitness.
Well, you roll whatever ring.
Depending on your
Stance you're using.
stance.
Well, I got 1 success and 2 opportunities.
Okay. So, you only needed 1 success in this one.
Oh.
You reduce the severity by 1 plus your bonus successes to the check. So, instead of a 7, this is actually a 6.
Oh, so I don't become a cripple.
No, so instead you get a debilitating gash. The hit is agonizing, cutting a deep furrow in the flesh or splitting muscle and fracturing bone. The character will likely need time to recover fully. So, what happens mechanically is Kakashi suffers the severely wounded condition for the ring they used.
This is a great beginning. This is a great beginning of the story. We're all gonna hate each other because she literally just decapitated me in a
So which ring were you
practice
using?
duel.
Who?
I mean, how can I not be a baby with like 5
are you
explosive
asking?
dice in a row?
What ring was Kakashi using in his fitness check?
Goodness gracious! Do I get to
Kakashi,
choose?
what ring? No, what ring were you in?
I was
What
probably
stance?
just an air stance, so that's what I've been in.
Okay. So for severely wounded, you increase the target number of your checks with the affected ring by 3.
Well, that's
So
pretty
if
much
you need-
worthless now, so
Um,
you're killing it, Nick. You're killing it.
killing it for what?
Great.
I didn't do anything. She did.
Sure, throw your wife under the bus.
So,
Well,
yeah, that's
I
critical
surrender. I cannot fight anymore, so I kill myself. I pull out my knife and
strikes.
gut myself
No.
on the floor.
This is not a seppuku
This is
situation.
not an honor duel or anything.
You're
like
a
that.
baby.
Just
That's pretty much what I do. I can't do anything right here.
So this is where we're going to go over to the other duel at this point. Both Victor and his opponent suffer 2 strife, and Victor gets to go first.
Racking it up, man. Racking it up. I'm at 6. So, I'm going to do a calming breath. So, during the battle, instead of taking... Actually, no, that doesn't make... That would be... I should probably go for him instead.
Yeah, so that for calming breath, if your strife is greater than half your composure, you can remove 1. If your fatigue is greater than half your endurance, you remove 1 fatigue.
That's the thing.
So-
Like I'm at over half my composure, but the thing is, then the next round comes and I'll take 3.
3
So like
more.
it's not a good trade off. I think that is just kind of wimpy as a skill. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like a spinning, swinging tack, and again just try and just rock his leg and see if I can't just pull him down by smashing his leg.
Okay, go for it.
So I'm gonna take the success and strife in order to hit him in the leg again with my war club, just trying to knock him down by hitting that hard enough, seeing if I can't break his leg potentially.
Okay. So 5 damage from your weapon?
Yes, 5 damage.
Okay. That means, let's see, his endurance. Okay, he is very much in pain, but he is still barely holding on as well.
Oh, come on, don't be.
He is at the limits of his own endurance, and he is going to try to strike you.
Has he gone down?
What do you mean by that?
Like, it has those multiple strikes to the same leg, just like, has that made him like stumble at all? I want to like stand over him like with my war club and be like, you just need to give up or else I'm going to crush your skull like a grape.
Was there any opportunity that you had that you?
No, that was
okay.
just wishful thinking.
Right. I'm gonna say probably, but it won't have any mechanical difference.
Okay.
Here. And he's going to try to strike you, and he'll be successful. So with his katana, so you got 3 successes. which I believe gives him 1 extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
So he'll do 5 damage to you.
Okay, I take 1 in fatigue for the first time. He trims
He
my
seems kind of
whiskers.
proud of himself. And he also like a little bit of strife. He removes a little bit of strife as he takes that small win as like, I got you kind of thing. He kind of like smirks a bit. He still seems rather nervous and very hurt, but he does have that small like little victory for himself. Let's move over to the other duel. Each of you will suffer.
It's not a duel.
You're still up?
Wait, no.
I don't even remember how much
Kakashi-
damage I had from the last
Kakashi
round, but I'm
already
sure I
took
had
a
more
crit.
than 3 damage.
Yeah.
Wait, neither
Yeah,
of you have
'cause it
been
was a
incapacitated.
katana.
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
was. So I had 3 originally, and then the last round you had the katana, which brought me to. So an additional 3. So
Yeah.
I'm already fatigued. So I already surpassed my endurance. Not even counting all of the extra damage dice from your explosive barrage.
So
I'm
in
probably
the
at
previous
7.
round you are
He was down.
okay. So I didn't realize that. So your duel is over.
Pretty much,
We'll get back to that in a second. Let's go to round 3 of Victor's duel. Victor and his opponent each take 3 strife, and this is where his opponent is compromised.
He's compromised too?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, I'm doing a finishing blow.
Since you're going first anyway, I will allow that.
I'm also compromised, so at this point, with being compromised, you can do something called being unmasked, which is a point where you break Bushido or the Code of the Samurai, and you do something that is uncouth, to say the least. So, like I said, I'm staring him down with my club, and I jump up, and I just come down as hard as I can on him, because I have no mercy for this mother.
Jeez.
Yeah, Jesus, right. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter. I think I've got 3 successes,
So,
2 of which
that's
give
good.
me a strife. So I'm just going to take that, because if I unmask, you get rid of all your strife.
Right.
So by doing that very intense attack, I just come down on that leg that I've been hammering this whole time, that I've been tenderizing. So with my war club, I just strike down on that leg, attempting to snap it in 2 with my 3 successes.
Okay. So he is now incapacitated, which does not allow. So since you were both compromised at the same time, and so technically in that case, like the one with the lower honor would go first in that, which I didn't realize until a little bit later.
But I did invoke finishing blow first. You did not speak up. I said I would.
I don't know.
So I'm allowing it this time, but like in the future.
No, don't let him get away with that.
No,
He's too cocky.
No.
It also does say, however, like I apologize, I just noticed this. If 2 characters trigger finishing blows simultaneously for any reason, such as the mandatory strife gained during the stare down, the one with the lower honor fully executes their finishing blow first. Then the other character executes theirs, assuming they're still alive. So,
well, the thing is, the chance of him hitting you is not very good.
If he wants to like blow bubbles at me and then I break his leg, it's up to him.
So before your finishing blow happens, he has 30 honor, which I believe is lower than yours.
It is.
So
For now.
he will.
We're pretty low.
Until I commit this move in a battle that's meant to knock somebody down, I snap a guy's femur.
Jeez, you
attack
guys are all
action,
brutal.
Let's see.
You guys are like permanently injuring people here, and we're just doing practice duels.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't trying to permanently.
Some of you guys are just too much into this. So it is just an attack action.
I don't think he's gonna finish. I don't think he's not a finisher.
Oh, fine.
He's wearing peasant armor, so
Ooh, that's an explosive success.
Uh-oh.
He would have to get a miracle run.
How many successes does he need to succeed? Just the 2, or have you increased
No,
that?
no. I haven't increased it, but the thing is, he'll do damage, which is against my fatigue, so he would need an insane amount.
Well, the thing is, if the character executing a finishing blow succeeds, instead of dealing damage, the finishing blow inflicts a critical strike with severity equal to 2 times the deadliness of the weapon or attack action used, plus bonus successes.
That's a 14? That's not good.
Gosh. For being this early,
You're gonna
I'm not
decapitate
going
your
to...
head off?
I'm not going to have
Swift
your character
death?
killed off by something
Swift
like this.
death?
No. You know what? Just out of curiosity, I'm curious to see how much you can reduce it. But also know this is meant to be, because this is meant to be like a training and sort of like tryout scenario, death is not nearly as likely. Don't worry about that.
Victor Jr. can come into the campaign.
But I'm just saying, just so we see how the mechanics work. Let's play this out a little bit. So for a critical strike, you need to make a fitness check.
Oh, okay.
As he was barely getting up, and whenever he strikes with his katana with one hand, so the deadliness is 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 additional successes, which is 12.
Oh, gross. Agonizing death.
Okay, so I got...
Death here,
I can only keep up to 3, so I got 3 successes.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
So you mitigate its effects by 1 plus your bonus successes. So instead of 12, it's actually going to be a 9. So if this were an actual, deadly battling scenario, your character would get maiming blow, gravely hurt by the strike and might never fully recover from it. A bit worse than a permanent injury. However, because this was a training situation, and the weapons that you guys would be using were effectively katanas or clubs or whatever, but not deadly ones, because the Crab Clan do not believe in unnecessary sacrifice. There's no point in sacrificing people in some training exercise, because we need as many people as we can get for the Shadowlands. So instead, I'm going to reduce the severity by half, and instead of 9, it's going to be 4. Flesh wound. The hit sinks into the character's flesh, slicing shallowly or creating a vicious contusion. So, lightly wounded, essentially. And then you would get to do your finishing blow on them, which we already established pretty much finished them off.
Yes.
You did it. You won.
Okay. So, all the other skirmishes and duels are finishing off as well. Under other circumstances, there's also a point system for duels, but these were duels to incapacitation. So if you incapacitated your opponent, you essentially won. It's kind of like catching the golden snitch in Quidditch. You basically won under most circumstances. So the captain comes to you guys, and the captain comes up to Victor and kind of looks at the person Victor fought, and goes to Victor's opponent and kind of says, "All right, we'll get your wounds treated, and you'll certainly need more training. And as for you, stick around. We will certainly want to talk with you." And then another captain comes by the 2 Shugenji and sees that Kakashi is the worse for wear.
My arm is literally split open. The bone is fractured.
Okay, probably not that bad. But certainly heavily bruised. And then Haruka looking proud at having, proven herself in this small, modest exercise. You see a lot of other people who are badly bruised, and maybe even a couple of broken bones here and there is probably the worst that has happened in some other cases. But not very many people fared as well in your battles as you guys did. A lot of these people were kind of a bit scrubs compared to you. Each of you, by virtue of you guys being PCs, were gifted in your respective schools. So a captain kind of calls you over and brings you back to Hidashi, who is the Crab Clan Major Daimyo. And Hidashi, again with his 2 advisors next to him, he kind of steps closer to you 3 and says, "Well done. Of course, as you know, I saw how well you did against each other and against your fellow soldiers. You three have been chosen as an elite squadron as an elite group to go out into the Shadowlands itself on a series of dangerous missions to scout and fight back against some troubling, more organized efforts against the Caillou Wall. We will give you more details later today, but for now, I think, some of you need to rest from your wounds and your bruises so that you are in peak condition for your first assignment.
Thank you,
the
sir.
The major daimyo of the
to
Pac-Man.
go home and rest.
You guys are told that your first mission will be to go out into the Shadowlands itself. Not very far into it, but there's rumors of there's reports of a goblin camp that's a bit too close to the wall. And so that is what you guys will be dealing with next time.
Ba-ba-bum.
Hello, I'm Dr. Discord, and I have one question for you. Are you evil? Do you find yourself secretly rooting for the bad guy? Do you find yourself suppressing a little chuckle when somebody else slips and falls? Do you find yourself secretly wishing for global domination? If you answered yes to any of these questions, check out Unnecessary Evil Podcast, where we discuss all things evil, from tips on how to write a better villain to tips on how to be a better villain. I probably won't even leave any booby traps this time. Part of the Necropodicon Network. Necropodicon. Hard to pronounce, easy to listen.
Dun, da, 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 da.